So I'm carrying two hats, being Hazara, being woman, and being an Afghan, and entire my life. So it is not easy. It's very difficult, but of course, sometimes when you feel very repression and suppress, you become more strong and get more strength.
Hello, I'm Sarah Brown with the Global and National Security Institute at the University of South Florida. Welcome to another episode of the GNSI video series. Today we're speaking with a very special guest, Dr. Habiba Sarābi. Dr. Sarabi is a pharmacist turned peace activist, politician, and reformer. She has served as Minister of Women's Affairs and in 2005 became the first Afghan woman to serve as governor. Additionally, Dr. Sarabi was one of 4 women to participate in the peace talks with the Taliban in Doha. Her experiences, along with her fellow female peace negotiators, is the subject of a new documentary called The Sharp Edge of Peace. Welcome, Dr. Sarabi. I would like to talk about when the Taliban took over in 1996. You took your children and fled to Pakistan. However, you made multiple secret trips on foot back into Afghanistan. Could you tell us why?
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be with you and with university here. This is unfortunately the second time that I'm leaving the country because of the force, because of the impression that Taliban is doing, or the rule that Taliban applying to the citizens. 1996, when they came in, I went to Pakistan. And of course, my children were young, and my daughter was on the 5th grade. And now, yesterday, you saw that she is, a capable lady and also prominent. Was prominent in Afghanistan. So we wanted to have to do something for Afghan people inside the country. We wanted to establish some secret school or underground literacy program in different part of Afghanistan. And when I wanted to go to inside Afghanistan to monitor all the education system or the schools, so I was wearing burqa. So it was something that it was the only benefit that we we got it, and we entered Afghanistan without any problem. Sometimes with my husband, because we were not allowed to go alone.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, most of the time I took my husband or some other relative to go inside the country and monitor the school and return back. With the burqa, with this proper hijab, no one could recognize us who we are. So this is really, it was a big risk for the teachers that they provided a room in their homes, in their house, one room for the students to come. It was risky for them, but they wanted to do something for girls inside Afghanistan.
Why do you view education as a linchpin for women's equality? Did you have similar struggles in your education and becoming a doctor?
Education and going out and to be, to stand on their own foot. It's something. It's matter for the people of Afghanistan, for men. Because it's male-dominated country, male-dominated society. They're always looking to women as a second gender, a second human being, and they wanted that the women should obey them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when a woman can be self-sufficient and, of course, stand on her own feet, so it will be a problem for them that they will not obey anymore to them. So education is the key, because through the education, they know about their rights. And even if we think about the Islamic rights, they have to know that what is the real Islam, that For example, today the Taliban is applying something. It's not the real Islam. Education in Islam is for the first Prophet Muhammad when he just ordered that. For example, in our Quran is Iqra. Iqra means to read. So this is something very clear in Islam, but the Taliban don't allow girls to go to school, women to work. But the beginning of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, his wife was a businesswoman. So this is something that I don't know what's the mentality of Taliban that to avoid everything from women, that because they want to suppress women, that not to be the active part of the society. Actually, from my perspective, Taliban are afraid from the power of women. And that's why they are push back everything, even from Islam.
That's an interesting perspective, especially when you're saying pushing women for power. But when the Taliban were kicked out the first time, you became a woman in power. You were actually the first woman to serve as governor in Afghanistan. Could you tell us some of your experience as the governor of the Bamyan province?
I became first the minister when the Taliban pushed back. It was not easy for me. I didn't reach to that position very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I had a lot of problem with my family as well, likewise other women in Afghanistan. So, for example, my father didn't like too much for me to go to school or to be to educate to have higher education. But after that, after election 2004, I requested from President Karzai, wanted to be the governor. I wanted to have something different, to make a change for the mindset of the people, for the mindset of the society, for the mindset of the community, that women can do different things. So the governance is something that the society and the community didn't expect, that a woman can run a province or a state, or it was, that's another step that women can do can be the president of Afghanistan. So it was not easy, but at the same time, because the Bamyan people are very open, their mindset is bright, so that's why they were welcome me. And from the other side, they were, to be honest, they were very tired and fed up with all the discrimination and the violence that the Mujahideen group or the warlord did in Bamyan. So they were very tired from that and wanted someone to be independent and not affiliated with these warlord groups. So that's why they welcomed me and so they welcomed very warmly, to be honest. So after that, of course, I wanted to be in touch with the people, to have close contact with them, and to listen them and their problem, and it helped me a lot.
So, what were some of the initiatives that you were able to implement in your term as governor? What were some of the educational or reform that you were able to do?
Of course, education was something that all the Hazara population and the central area that they interested for education. But when I was for 8.5 years, I was the governor, and it was very long term that many of the other governor were not able to do it. But for 8 years and more than 8 years, I was able to improve the education level, and the enrollment of girls was in the school was one of the highest in the country. We had the 43% of girls going to school. It was on that time it was even higher in Kabul level and Herat, which was a little bit, a province that they loved education and they are keen to education. And the other thing that I brought or made some change was about the engagement of women in different aspect. One of the aspect that one of the field was the rural development program. The Ministry of Rural Development had a program by the name of NSP, National Development NSP, National Solidarity Program. So with this NSP program had a different council in different village in different area. So for every village, I pursued the women to participate at the council, with the election of council, and then to participate in the council meeting and to make their project. So it was not, common in entire Afghanistan that the women in Bamyan could participate in the council. And also the law against violence. There was a law approved by Parliament in Afghanistan. I made, of course, the Ministry of Women Affairs approach to a different province, but in Bamyan, I was able to handle that one, that law in a proper way, and mostly working with the different department to avoid violence from women on that country, on that society. So these were the biggest change. And the third one is the freedom of media, freedom of speaking. The media in my time, they were very happy and they had access in every department to get information and to publish all the, positive and negative things. It was a kind of sometimes, of course, to be critic. It will make improvement for the life and also for the program.
In those 3 achievements that you implemented, did you see other provinces following similar paths during your time as governor?
So I remember that when a provincial council member came from Herat and wanted to visit our province, they were very impressed by the girls' education and also development that happened in Bamyan. The other things that even the central government was copying that or followed that. And I set up a program that all the local government were supposed to present all their activity to provincial council and also to people and to the media. So it was a kind of transparency program. And I set up that for every year. It was a kind of reporting system that every year for the, some days, I allocated some days, for example, 2-3 days that the media could come, like a conference room, and people and the directorate, the director of every department came together and reported to the media. This one, the central government in some other province copied from Bamyan.
I like to see that you were implementing these wonderful programs and the transparency of media, and that there was a willingness to learn and implement those across the country of Afghanistan. I do want to circle back to one comment that you were talking about. You were talking about the Hazaras. Could you explain for folks who don't know who the Hazaras are in Afghanistan?
Hazara people are a group of people that from ethnic part, of course, in Afghanistan, it's a multi-ethnic society, and different ethnic group are living there, but Hazara is a part of that. And of course, unfortunately, in Afghanistan, there is not a proper census that to be done. Pashtun are, for example, saying that they are majority, and after that, Tajik and Hazara. But it's still not clear that who got the, more population and who are the less one. But we have this a specific feature face, and it's a kind of Mongolian face. but we are living mostly in the central part of Afghanistan. But of course, some people say that Hazara people are the remain part of Genghis Khan in Afghanistan, but it's not the reality. According to the Buddha statues and also the historical historical background of the Buddha statue and Buddhism in Bamyan, it shows that Hazara was the original people of that site. And also from religion point of view, we have different from the other part, which is the Hanafi or Sunni, and we are Shia. But unfortunately, Hazara people along the history in Afghanistan discriminated according to their ethnicity and also according to their religion.
And if I'm correct, you are part of the Hazara community.
Yes.
Could you talk about your experiences navigating with those dual identities of being a woman in a patriarchal society and being a Hazara in a minority ethnic group, how it affected you as you were becoming a doctor and as a politician, and then later when you were an activist for gender equality?
Yes, I'm carrying two hats, being Hazara, being woman, and being an Afghan entire my life. So it is not easy. It's very difficult. But of course, sometimes when you feel very repression and suppress, you become more strong and get more strength that to do something, to bring some change. As I knew myself, and so I wanted to make a change. I wanted to prove myself that as a Hazara woman, and being Hazara, when we have to show that we are able to do, we have the knowledge, we have the capability, we have to prove that we are similar to other people. So that's why I worked very hard, very, very hard, to prove to the society and also to the other population of the country, like and also in my own community, Hazara community, within the men, that among the men, that I am someone that can do something positive. So I remember sometimes that I was the only, and with my chief assistant, we were the two women that along with the meeting with 50 other men to talk and to moderate and to communicate with others. So this is something that we can teach them, that we women are able to bring some positive change.
And I think your career and your work has shown that. I would like to start talking about your participation in the Taliban peace talks in Doha. You are one of 4 female peace negotiators, and your experiences along with your fellow female peace negotiators are subject to a new documentary called The Sharp Edge of Peace. What was the general feeling during those peace talks? Was there a sense of progress being made during those discussions?
The general feeling from my side, of course, I was wondering that this and our ideology are very different and very opposite to each other. So we believe to democracy, human rights, women's rights, and the universal value. But the Taliban are the people that they don't believe such a value, the universal value, human rights, women's rights. Of course, it was a kind of shock for us how to communicate with them, especially for me as being a Hazara. During the first time of Taliban, Hazara were, massacred in Bamyan, in Mazar-e Sharif in the north, and still Hazara people are multiple suffering from the rule of Taliban. So it was very difficult for me, but at least for the sake of peace and for the sake of to bring stability in Afghanistan, I wanted to represent my ethnicity and also represent the women to protect the rights of women. But unfortunately, we didn't come to the real agenda. The time that for 1 year, we were in Doha, but the first 6 months took only we talked about the basic structure of but when we wanted to apply our agenda, and so many things happened. The election came to, it was election in United States. That election is also, somehow affected the talks, because Taliban was waiting that something new will happen for the new administration, and they will. That's why they were wasting the time and didn't want the real to come to the negotiation. And after that, the Moscow format happened, and they went there, and several other issues. At the end, the agenda didn't come to the table, and the collapse happened. And before collapse, every day there was a kind of losing the district district government and the local government. The Taliban had an upper hand, and catching all the police station and military office and military part. So it was really didn't happen or we didn't have the opportunity to enter to the real peace negotiation.
So are you saying that the Taliban were a disingenuous party when it was coming to those peace talks?
Yes, they were. They didn't want, and because actually they wanted the Doha negotiation for their legitimacy. Because before when the talks started, of course, before that, the agreement between U.S. and Taliban already signed, and the Taliban had a kind of upper hand for that, and they thought that they defeated U.S. and NATO, and so they didn't respect. They were not ready to respect the government of Afghanistan or the delegation from the government of Afghanistan. They wanted to somehow to buy time or make time to get the legitimacy from that talk.
So do you think there is a way for the international community to engage with the Taliban government, the current Taliban government, without legitimizing their actions against women?
I think so. There is a way, and still the international community are engaging with Taliban through the UN system. And of course, they are sending money as a humanitarian aid. Of course, there are a lot of questions about the distribution of humanitarian aid, but anyway, this is the way that they are doing. And also, this kind of many countries, they started a kind of economic relation with them, and trade and business for contracting with mine and different other item. But yes, political engagement is also possible, and it should be continued. Otherwise, like the 90s century, the 1996. So the Taliban will be isolated, and the Afghanistan people will be isolated. So that's why this engagement is necessary, but it should be conditional based. If there will be some political pressure to the Taliban as well, beside the engagement, political pressure to them about the human rights, about women's rights. So in continuing the engagement, and also pushing for this roadmap that prepared from the UN and the UN special assessment that in Afghanistan, it will help maybe in the future that convince Taliban to come for negotiation.
That's a little hopeful, I think, engaging with them, but making it conditional so that humanitarian rights and women's rights are at the forefront of any discussion. Ever since the Taliban took over and the U.S. withdrew its troops, it feels that the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan has kind of disappeared from the mainstream news. What are some stories that you're hearing from your fellow country folks about the situation that's happening in Afghanistan right now?
Um, the poverty is a big problem at this moment, as according to the humanitarian aid that you mentioned. It is really the people are suffering from poverty. The majority of people they are dismissed from their position that they worked with the government. The half of population whom they are women, they are avoid to go to work and to go to school, and the school teacher, I mean. Upper to sixth grades, they are at home and not going to teach anymore, and also all the official and civil servant that they used to work with the government before, now they are, dismissed from their position. It's also it bring poverty, and the military service, unfortunately, and they are hiding from the government, from the de facto authority, from Taliban. Otherwise, they will be arrested and tortured and could be in the prison. Sometimes they are killing this former military service. So these are, and also according to the aid distribution, mostly the Taliban made a trick that they register new organization on their own name. So mostly these humanitarian aid are distributing by these type of NGOs or organization, and the majority of this aid is flowing to the area that mostly is supporting Taliban, and the other people are suffering from poverty, and so there is no job opportunity for the people to do. Everybody is just taking a truck and staying at the street and to sell some vegetable or some small part of fruits. This is something that they are getting money to feed their children. So these are the problem that people are facing. Of course, suppressing women are the major problem. Suppressing the Hazara community and other minority group like some Uzbek that they are in the north part of Afghanistan. They are. This is also a big problem. The situation, unfortunately, according to Richard Bennett report, is getting worse. In a state to make a positive change, it's getting worse.
It's a very bleak picture that you're painting about the current situation that's happening. So my final question for you today is, what is your hope for the future of your home country?
So still, we do have hope because the regime are coming and going back. It will not stay forever. This is the big hope. And if today this is a dark situation, tomorrow it will be a bright future. Tomorrow, if we can stay during the night in a dark place, and we can think that tomorrow the sunshine will be here, and we will see the sunshine and bright day. So this is something that we always thinking about that. And the women of Afghanistan is a hope because every day, day by day, they are struggling, their commitment, their determination, their or resilience that they are doing. This is the hope. And so, but there are some steps should be taken. There should be more. Strength, or there should be more link between the diaspora and women that they are inside Afghanistan. There should be more discussion among people in diaspora and people who are inside Afghanistan for to bring idea together and to make unity for that. And I hope that the concept that UN brought as a roadmap for peace. It can work if there will be enough pressure from different sides and from different country and international community to Taliban to come for the talk.
Thank you so much for joining today. This has been a very enlightening conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's going to wrap up this episode of the GNSI video series. Special thanks to our guest today, Dr. Habiba Sarābi, the first female governor in the history of Afghanistan. Thank you for reminding us that the fight Afghan women and girls are facing right now is the fight for equality and the rights of women and girls everywhere. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Sarah Brown with the Global and National Security Institute at the University of South Florida. We look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of our GNSI video series.